This is Michael with Digital T-Shirt Shop. So I've got a bunch of things to talk about this morning. Um, Buying a new printer, talking to an attorney about trademarks, kind of the main thing. And so we're gonna get going really quick. Hey, again, this is Michael with Digital T-Shirt Shop. So I had a chance to talk to an attorney yesterday. About the Digital T-Shirt Shop trademark, and it was kind of fun. His name is Whit Johnson. He works for Stoel Rives in Salt Lake City, and actually I was really impressed. Whit really knows his stuff about even though he doesn't specialize in trademarks, he knows an awful lot about them. He does specialize in patents. Um, and Obviously would know an awful lot about that as well. But I was really, really impressed with the information he was able to share with me. Um, it was interesting because in talking to him originally, he told me, had I come to him before filing the trademark, he would have advised me against filing that trademark, in part because, and again, I'm going to slaughter all the terminology here, and I'm going to slaughter the concept. Um, but when you talk about a real generic process, and one of the examples that he used was apple farmers, you know. And if I have an apple farm and I trademark the term apple farm, it prevents everybody else from using the term apple farm. And how else are they supposed to describe their business? And that's where the generality in terms used with Digital T-Shirt Shop comes into play. Is how do other businesses that do the same type of process then distinguish their process and how they do business when we have blocked a certain phrase from being used within that industry. And I would say that my intent is not to block people from saying they do digital printing. My intent's not to say they prevent them from saying they do digital t-shirts even, but my intent is to have a recognized brand. And I know that Digital T-Shirt Shop is simple, and does define the process and all those things, but I still don't see, and I can see why, and I can see why, but I can also ask why not. If I have, if I, and then what was the word that he had used? It wasn't intrinsic. It was, if it became such that one thing I learned from talking to him, there's a supplemental registry where you have your trademark registered for 5 years on the supplemental registry, and it may need to be reapplied to the supplemental registry for an additional 5 years, up to 10 years, before it's actually fully trademarked. And in this time, it gives you the opportunity to really actually make the brand, really, or whatever it is you're trademarking, of value. And there was a word for it, and I completely lost the word. And he thought that maybe there was a chance that I could be put on that supplemental. He was going to talk to somebody else in their law firm and see whether that was the case and if it was worth jumping through those hoops. But it really just may not be, because it's so simple. And otherwise, what I would need to do is I would need to actually build it to the point that it actually had real value and there's a real purpose for me having either the logo or the phrase as it is as an actual trademark. And and I don't know what that is. Could that be 1 million Facebook followers? Could it be 1 million YouTube followers, and everybody sees it and they think, oh yeah, that is an actual brand, versus that's a process within the industry, that everybody ought to be able to use. And really my whole intent, if you remember or if you even went back and saw the previous videos, isn't to say, again, people can't use digital printing or digital t-shirts or any of those things. It's to make that combination of words a distinguishable brand. So we did that. I really appreciate Whit's advice, his help, and the discussion that I was able to have with him. The other thing is so we're kind of in line to buy our new printer. So there's a chance that here in the next week, even week and a half, that we may actually have it. And I guess that could be both an exciting time, a scary time. You like to think I'd buy a new printer, my sales will go up, my business will go up. This may not actually be the case. It is a new, printing with white ink, and the pre-treatment processes are something that I would need to build into how I do things on a daily basis, which makes the process longer. There'll be a lot of changes that I need to make to the products that I offer and I sell. There's a learning curve with it. I'll need to do a bunch of test printing and test washing to make sure that I'm applying pre-treatments correctly and things like that. And so it's one of those things that I want to be cautious about. We would lease the machine as opposed to buy it outright because of the price of it, which means at the same time I'm married to it for a number of years, and married to it until it's paid off, married to it until the business either grows or declines, whatever it is. So, and you'd hope that you've made the right decisions, and you'd hope that once you get to that point that you have taken the appropriate steps and considering everything that you do, that you're making the right decisions. And so I've been contemplating a lot the decisions, trying to just make sure this is really, really what I want to do, because of the long-term nature of jumping into something like this. I've got to make it work if I'm going to be that committed to it that I'm going to buy another machine. I don't know, it's interesting anyhow. So I really do, as it is, love doing t-shirts, and I love the business aspect of this, and I love the all the things that I do related to it. But the thing that I keep asking myself is, could I just completely drop the whole physical printing of t-shirts side of this and still like it just as much and go back to just the third-party printing side of it? Or should I do the third-party printing side of it combined with the physical printing side of it? My biggest problem that I've had up to till now is that I can't match and I can't duplicate what other people can do with third-party printing because I've restricted myself in how I print. And so I can only print a spectrum of the printing that other people can do. Would everything and how it works and operates and sales volume and all those things be different if I was able to do it? If I was able to do, medium to dark, very dark clothing, garment options, t-shirts, where those are something that I'm not able to do right now. And I would like to think that it would open a whole another spectrum. But when you do direct-to-garment printing, the other thing that it does is it also increases the cost of that printing. You enter a complete different market because you are no longer selling inexpensive t-shirts, t-shirts that are on the lower end of what you're able to sell. And you have to start selling them on the higher end just because of the natural cost of what it costs to do business and what it costs to print. So those are all things that I'm needing to factor in. So I would be needing to buy a new printer. I'd be needing to change out a lot of my shirts. I'd need to be changing a lot of the pricing. I'd need to be ordering additional ink supplies, which can be an additional cost as well. And then it might take months, really, for me to update all the listings, where I go in and I add, other colors of t-shirts and alter all the pricing on everything that I sell, in order to offset the cost of this new type of printing. So anyway, so those are all things that are going through my head. I'm gonna put a little bit more additional thought into it, and we'll see what happens. If it does, I feel good about it. And a lot of that I do just kind of go off of my feelings about it. Whether I'd like to think that it's describe it right, a little bit more of a on the spiritual side of in this case, feeling like I'm making a bigger decision, that I've included the spiritual side of this decision and long term and where I should be going with my life. So yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll see how I feel here, and if I do, next week probably I should be opening a box. So we'll see what happens. Anyhow, there's kind of my musings for today. Today is, I want to say, December 21st. We're about 4 days away from Christmas. Still have a few orders coming in. They're obviously not as many as last week. Last week I would say was kind of our peak sales, but there's still some trickling in, and we're creeping up on that. And so as things have slowed down, I'm going to put some increased effort into pushing towards the third-party printing, so we have that additional sales channel working for us. So and got to get working on that virtual assistant. I really appreciate that merch action channel. It's commented a lot and had a good dialogue with me about encouraging me to make sure I got that virtual assistant and got the virtual assistant working for me and helping me out. I can really see the benefit of it. I appreciate that. Thank you. Don't forget to subscribe. We'll talk to you later.